Here we have our tumbler. It's time for us to switch over from our second stage to our third stage. We've had this going on the tumbler for 9 days straight in stage 2. And our slurry is slightly lighter than it was last time. If you notice, the color is lighter because the grit is smaller. You'll just rest that in the sink for a sec. And we'll drain this off into a colander so that all of the grit and sludge goes to the bottom of the bucket. And we catch our rocks. And now it's time to clean. As you can see, the ceramic pellets have gotten a little smaller, but I feel like the variety of stones that we have tumbling in the filler is like 50-50, which is still good, or maybe even a little more in favor of the filler. Looks like our shape is coming up nicely well rounded, and all that final softer sanding is now occurring. Finer sanding, I should say. We're going to get these cleaned up, separate out our filler from our stones, and then set up for this third stage. Just want to show you a little bit about the process that we're doing. So we started with some of this, these chips to fill in with our coarse. So this is what they looked like raw, and this is what they looked like after our coarse grind. So you can notice that the edges are starting to be slightly rounded and a little more dull looking, like the surface isn't definitely not shiny yet, but it's rounder in shape. Still a little jagged jagged formed. This next batch over here has gone through both the coarse and the medium grit, and it is still a little wet. This one's drying off a little. You can see that the surface is still not polished, but it has a little bit more of a softness to it. And the shapes are definitely more rounded. So at the end of your second stage, you're almost getting that final shaping done. And you're now going to be moving on to the final sanding and polishing. So I've set this up right here so you can kind of see where we're at in the tumbling station. This is where we started, and this is after stage 2. So you can not only see like the shape difference, these are much rounder than those are. They're also, the colors are more vibrant. You can tell that the tumbling process and the finishing of the surface of the stone has started. The translucency or matte finish of these is looking pretty good for end of stage 2. And that was just after the coarse and medium grits. And now we're getting ready to move our stones on to stage 3, which is the fine grit or pre-polish, some people call it. It's a 500 mesh silicon carbide. And we are going to use fresh pellets for the stage 3. I have cleaned off the pellets that were in stage 2 with these rocks, and I've put them aside for the next stage 2 that I do in another batch. So I'm going to put our rocks into the tumbler again. Make sure your tumbler is all cleaned out and there's no grit from the previous stage showing anywhere around the rim or in the bottom of the barrel. And we will be adding new ceramic pellets. Seems like we're adding a little bit more now because our stones are a little smaller. But we do want to hit that 2/3 to 3/4 full level. Measurement of grit, 2 pounds of rock, do you remember? 1 tablespoon per pound of grit. You put in your tumbler. We have a 2-pound tumbler. It's 3/4 full, so we have 1.5 pounds of rock and 1.5 tablespoons of grit. This is the fine grit. It's very kind of powdery. Adding the water. Just to cover the stones. It needs a little bit of air in there to move around. Make sure that's nice and tight, everything's secure. We're ready to tumble.
Thanks for following along with us so far. Our fourth and final part, going over the polishing stage and our final result, will be done before you know it. But until then, thanks for watching.